Today we sit with Steffi, a holistic psychologist and intuitive artist, and she talks to us about how she started turning her menstrual cycle time into a moon time, into a beautiful ritual where she creates a sacred space. So stay tuned. Welcome to Unapologetically Woman, the podcast where women come together to share their unfiltered experiences navigating womanhood. Join us as we dive into candid conversations about periods, perimenopause, postpartum bleeding, miscarriages, and more. This is a safe space where we embrace the raw, real, and often unspoken aspects of being a woman. Get ready to be empowered, inspired, and heard. This is Unapologetically Woman. Welcome back to Unapologetically Woman. I am here with holistic psychologist Steffi, an intuitive artist who relocated to Peru in April 2021. Very excited for this moment to hear your views, because honestly, I did not know that there were holistic psychologists. And I am just like, dude, that is so amazing. Like, that is just, I don't know. I feel very honored, like, to learn from you and grow from you today. So I really hope everyone, like, you're paying attention here. And we are going to talk about today, well, Steffi's going to talk about how our periods in the moon are highly related. And we're going to begin with Steffi's story. So at what age, did you begin your period, and what was your experience with your period, the way you felt about it and the culture you were around? What was other people's influence about how you saw your period?
Thank you so much for having me, Ms. Tanya. I'm very honored as well. So, well, I got my period very late, actually. I was 15 when it came through. And I remember, as a young woman, feeling very weird about it and feeling almost like abnormal, because the majority of the girls were already menstruating. So I felt like the odd one out, and then maybe something is wrong with me, So I remember when it came through, like I could hardly believe it. I was like, oh, really, this is happening? So I was almost like, very, very happy and relieved. So I think that was the start of it. And well, I grew up in Europe. I'm originally from Belgium. And I guess that the years after that, I kind of perceived it as, I think most women do, or young women do, as a kind of a burden. You're menstruating, it's uncomfortable, you're in pain, that whole, that feeling, and then that world kind of. That's kind of like the first years. I think it was like that, and I would experience quite a bit of pain as well. And then, jumping to my 20s, I guess that's when I started to really dive into more, healing myself, healing, some things that I had been struggling with. And I also started studying psychology. So by title, I'm a clinical psychologist, but then that kind of, evolved into working with other modalities as well, having a more alternative approach to it. But obviously that was a whole, evolution process. But then, as I grew older, and I kind of connected more with myself, and I did a lot of healing of myself, I kind of connected more. Not only with my inner world, but also with my body. And that's when, at some point, my period became, I just started looking at it differently and feeling it, sensing it in a different way. And it became more of a sacred thing, almost like something is happening within me that is an essential part of who I am, as a person and as a woman. And it's actually here to help me, which may sound very strange, but it became kind of a beacon, a kind of something I can turn to, and I started to live in a more cyclical way, instead of, just, racing through time, and then, like every month, oh, there's a period again, and then, you get your tampons out or whatever, So at the time, it was still tampons and stuff, right? So, now it's more like menstruation cups and stuff like this. But, at the time, it was more, I remember I didn't have too much awareness yet of, like the menstruation cup and whatever, like menstruation underwear. And so that's kind of how it evolved, as I turned to myself more and I did more healing than myself. I became more centered, and my menstruation became like an ally instead of, something that I'm trying to fight or, like that. So, yeah, in a nutshell, that's how it evolved, right? We're no longer enemies. We're allies now. We're friends. We're good friends. We love each other.
I think that's great, because we do. I love what you said at the beginning. Like, we do at first see it as a burden, and I was like that late one too. I had mine at, what's considered late. I was at 13 when I had it, and everybody else had it, and I think that it came with like a little bit of shame too, because I would get the comments like, "You're not on your period," like in the disgust of like, I'm not on my period, like, from other girls, dudes aren't tripping, and it was like a little like, dude, like, is there something wrong with me? Like, it does give that, and I think we really need to make it more common for these types of things to come out, to so that we realize that, dude, this is completely normal, that every woman's body is different. Like, we are all made up so genetically, like scientifically different. Even twins have tweaks in their DNA, so to just be like, oh, well, something's wrong with you, like, it, you do end up feeling that way, growing up. And then you said that something changed for you, because you said it became very painful, and then something changed. I want to know, like, what exactly happened? What age were you that it was just like, boom, it became that spark? And we're going to go more into that when we come back after this break.
Welcome to Unapologetically Woman, the podcast where we dive into all things related to women's health, empowerment, and success. I'm Miss Tanya, a dedicated life coach using menstrual cycle synergy to help women executives, women entrepreneurs, and corporations, helping them establish better policies to accommodate women. If you are enjoying today's episode and want to stay updated with our latest content, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Share this video with a woman who would benefit from our discussions. We're always looking to grow our community and empower more women. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below sharing the insights you gained from today's episode. And don't forget to like this video to show your support. If you are watching during the premiere, make sure you leave a comment during the premiere below in order to enter into our monthly giveaway, where you'll receive live CBD resin gummy, CBD skincare products, a period tracker planner, and a spa certificate. Winners will be tagged and announced. New episodes premiere on YouTube on Wednesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. If you're ready to take the next step towards your own empowerment, book a free 15 life coaching session with me. Visit www.mstanya.com to schedule your session today. For corporations looking to support women's health, I offer consulting services to help implement better policies. Want to be a guest on our show and share your story? Visit our website or find the link in the description to express your interests. Thank you for being part of our community. Subscribe now, click the notification bell, leave a comment, like, share, and join us on this empowering journey. Stay tuned for more empowering conversations on Unapologetically Woman. Welcome back, everybody. We are here with Stephanie. I'm sorry. Let's do that again. It says Stephanie. I want to say Stephanie because I see Steffi, and I want to say Stephanie. Like, all right. Welcome back, everybody, to Unapologetically Woman. We are here with holistic psychologist Steffi, who is going to continue her amazing journey through her menstruation time. So this is the part where we're coming on to your story where you started to see things a bit differently. So you started at the age 15. At what age, what time period did you start to view your period no longer as a burden?
I think, quite some time passed by. I think it was around like 25, between 25 and 27, when that really started to shift, when that really, really, really started to shift. And I think that, the trigger for that was the healing process that I was in. So I think that kind of the healing process, the healing journey that I was on with myself, like I said, it brought me closer to myself. And then, more inward, I went more like inward. And that kind of brought me to, the menstruation. I adopted a more healthy lifestyle, and, part of that for me, like getting closer to nature, but then also getting closer to my own nature, right? And that's kind of how it all, it was so connected. It was almost like a logical consequence of the inner work I had been doing, if that makes sense. So I would say 25, 27, that really shifted. By that time, I had been traveling also, which, opened my eyes, my mind, my heart, my uterus, kind of opened up all of these channels and, kind of helped me feel life more deeply and not more like in a static way, you know? So it kind of opened me up a lot. And that helped to kind of shift the mindset and, experience the period in a different way. So I would say around that age, more or less.
Wow. And wow, this is the thing, which is so interesting is the progress, right? Because it's a journey. And I think sometimes in this society, our world, we want that instant gratification. We want things to happen immediately for us. And y'all, it just don't happen that way.
It doesn't, it really doesn't. Sometimes it does, depends. If you're manifesting with the moon, perhaps, that's the.
Yeah. Speaking of the moon, you guys, that was a perfect segue right there. Speaking of the moon, Steffi, please tell us about our periods and the moon, how us as women, how you came to coordinate that and the benefits. Yes, please take that away.
So for me, obviously, this is my personal perspective, right? I speak about my moon time because, I see the sun as being more like a masculine presence, and then the moon, more like a feminine energy. So in the first place, it's all about, honoring the feminine energy, being on that period where, your intuition is heightened, you're feminine, you feel more, you could feel more feminine, I feel if you flow more with your menstruation period and you honor it and you embrace it and you allow it to guide you, wow, you feel like such a woman, you feel so feminine, whatever that means, to you as an individual, because obviously we're all unique, right? But I feel like that's why I call it my moon time. And then the moon, as an energy or presence or whatever, if we want to, we can also live, our lives, following the moon cycles, which obviously may not be for everybody, but, like the major ones that people tend to know are like the new moon and the full moon. So you could actually kind of also bring that into your space, your lifestyle, if you want to manifest with the moon, like you have some goals and objectives, you want to make them happen, then you can kind of learn how to harness the power of the moon, which can also be interpreted in many different ways. If you just see the moon as some kind of, feminine power that just helps you, in the manifestation process of things, which is not always easy. We have a goal and then we have to take like many steps to get there, right? It's not like you said, the instant gratification, not happening too often, right? So, and we can kind of learn how to allow that moon energy, something you resonate with, you connect with, to kind of help us with that. The new moon is excellent for like starting like a new cycle, for example. So then you kind of set your intention and then you see how it goes, month to month. So, and yeah, of course, another factor is like how some women actually, their cycles, their menstruation cycles are actually related to the moon. Some people, Some women, they ovulate, around the new moon, or, whatever, however that works. But that's very personal, obviously. I've had a little bit of everything. I've menstruated on the full moon, on the new moon. It's been changing a little bit for me. So yeah, that's kind of for me how they're related.
And I love it because, to be honest with you, like I thought like I was the only one like coordinating my period by the mood. It's one of the things I do with my clients because I'm not only a transformative like a life coach and like mindset coach, but we do things according to the menstrual cycle planning. So it's considered in a woman's schedule because it's like, hey, if you already know your energy is going to drop, like it's okay. It's okay that you feel this way, okay? What needs to happen? Oh, you need to eat more greens at this time? Make sure you do what your body needs because your body is telling you something, and to honor that. And also honor the fact that you don't have to push through your pain. You can say, you know what? These 2 days, I really struggle and I have a bit of pain. I'm not going to set any meetings for this time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm going to take time and I'm going to heal myself. But I started noticing when I was tracking my period, because I also track the phase of the moon, I noticed that it would always have waxing gibbous. That's when I start spotting. And then the day of the full moon, that's when my period is like, here we are. Like, it is like, no joke. Like, it is like, it's been happening that way consistently. And so I started learning, what does that mean? Like, it is like, what does that mean? Like, it's always coordinating with this part. And it's a season that I'm on. It's like the way I saw it, it's like a season. This is the time for me to be taking this risk, to be creative, to be harnessing that full moon energy. It's like, this is the time for it. And then if it's happening on the new moon, it's like, okay, you might be in a season where you need to reflect. Like, this might be time for you to reflect. And so I'm like, oh, this is how my body's telling me what's happening right now, because if I'm stressed, guess what? That period is delayed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, man, as women, I feel like our body speaks to us and like the entire earth, like even the moon, even from like a physics point of view, right? Like it affects the waves in the water.
Mm-hmm.
So why should we not think that it affects us as humans? I mean, we've even shown like now that sounds affect humans. Like it affects us. Like we like the frequencies and vibrations we take through our bodies, like they affect us. So it makes perfect sense that women coordinate things with the moon. And I think that's just fabulous. And that time span, it was like what, 10, 12 years?
Yeah, more or less. Took me some time. Yeah.
And when it took you some time, right? You started on this journey of seeing it like transform you. How did you start to get this information? How would one start to understand, this, like, what advice would you give them? Or, yeah, I guess like what advice, would you give someone, a young woman trying to understand how to see and view her period differently?
Well, I would say, first of all, it's completely yours. Whatever age it started, however long your period is, if you have heavy bleeding or not, know that it's yours and it's unique to you and it's perfect as it is. And if possible, what you mentioned also, to really take time to experience it. And I know it's easier said than done, because we have stuff to do. And, but this is another thing that I've seen, now I just really take time. I'm just unapologetically me, menstruating. And that's like, I'm very sorry, I just can't today. I'm not even sorry, I just can't today. I'm actually not apologizing because, this is how it is. And I actually also voice it to people because I know there's a lot of shame around, I'm on period, maybe if you don't want to communicate that.
and maybe we have even more shade towards men. But even if it's like a male friend or whatever, I'm like, you know what? I'm on my moon time, you know? So I turn it into a practice where I can also say, this is my time. I'm on my moon time. I can't. And then, you know, I take time to be with myself. I go into kind of ceremony. I go into ceremony with myself. I do some rituals, you know, whatever that may look like. It's also different for everybody. It can be journaling, could be going out in nature. It can be, you know, like just lying on the couch, whatever works, you know, whatever you feel like doing, but really to own it as something that is yours, to know that it's sacred, and to allow it to speak to you and do whatever you need to do, you know, whether it's like you said, you know, the moon and the water, you know, it's just like whether it's a tsunami or it's like a, you know, a river, whatever it is, you know, honor it as it is. That's what I would say. I would have loved to hear that like a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's beautiful. That's beautiful advice. And I really hope, you know, us as women, we take that to heart, you know, that like honing and honoring our body, and not seeing it as a burden, you know, because it can really triculate, I feel, to other aspects of our lives as women, you know, starting to view our own self as a burden. Yeah, that was thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate your wisdom and knowledge here today. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, that was Steffi, everybody. You can check out her website. Link is below, either in the YouTube description or on your listening platform. Definitely check her out. Show her some love. Go on her social media. Give her a follow. Okay, bookmark and save. Okay, she is amazing. And I cannot wait to see more and hear more about your progress in the future. And until next time, everyone, thank you and have a pleasant moon time. Thanks for joining us today. Learn more about our guests in the description below. Download your free period tracker to stay in tune with your energy levels, mood, cravings, and your flow. Interested in being a guest on our show? Complete the form in the description. Leave a comment below to share your thoughts on today's episode and be entered into our surprise monthly giveaway. For women looking for a natural way to relieve menstrual cramps, try live resin gummies to ease menstrual cramps. The link is available in the description. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more empowering content. This is Unapologetically Woman.